Hey everybody, this is Jim McKenna from Facilis Technology. Little video snippet here, kind of keep it short. We're going to talk about 8.1 and our new Smart Access rules. It's an overview, so I'm going to show you a few slides first. The Smart Access rules is an addition, an optional package, that goes on top of the standard volume permissions that we have. It's included with version 8.1. You can use it on any volume that you like across multiple user accounts, whatever you need. And it's a way to get deeper into the volume file system and start to manage individual files and folders and not just the overall file system like we've always done. This has been the traditional way of working for decades now for a lot of systems out there, is that you have a volume that's a project-based volume or some sort of category of media that you want to separate for security purposes across your user accounts. You have some people mount that with read-write access. Some people might mount it with read-only access based upon their user accounts, which can be multiple methods of user accounts in our system that you can use. And then multiple other people maybe just don't have access at all because they don't need to get access to that particular project volume, or maybe they need to put something into the project volume but you don't trust them to get write access to the whole thing, which has kind of been the problem in the past, is that if you have access to write to the volume, you have access to write or delete anything in the volume. So that changes with Smart Access rules. Now with Smart Access rules, we have policies that can be applied to volumes. So policies are sets of rules. Those are applied to volumes, and the rules themselves are applied to users and groups. So the rules are based upon what users and groups can do in the volume, and then the policies are applied to the volumes that you need to be able to secure. Basic permissions is as it always has been with traditional volume locked access or volume level access permissions, which is the entire volume is writable. You can write and delete and change anything. If the entire volume is read only, you can just read everything. You can't change anything. With the new system, that comes down to a folder and file level. So now you have various methods of access: read, write, create, delete on any given folder, file, or the entire volume, depending on how you want to set up the security for individual users. So now, instead of being a single file system, it's a set of volumes and elements within the file system that you can manage for different users. So instead of just saying, well, you have read-write access to the whole volume, maybe you just need read-write access to a couple different folders, and maybe the footage, the camera masters or whatever it might be, becomes read-only to you. And that way, it's you're not worried about people changing things within that location. And then maybe that read-only user before that was read-only on the entire volume just needs to see that footage folder. So everything else in the volume just becomes, no access to them. They can't open it, they can't copy it, they can't play it down. And those people before, those user accounts that had no access to the system, now maybe you can give them just a single folder within the volume that's a write-only location. A write-only location is a really unique functionality. It allows you to add data to the system, and after a certain amount of time, that data becomes no access to you. You can't even read it. You can't copy it back off again. You can't play it down. And other people that are writing into that same write-only location with write-only permissions or access rule can't see each other's data or can't play that down. So it's good for security purposes for facilities that have maybe a single workstation that's used for ingest for multiple projects. So let's get into the interface a little bit, and you'll see how easy it is to set some of this stuff up. So this is our 8.1 admin console. The admin console in 8.1, as well as the client console in 8.1, now are applications and not just web browser access anymore. We do offer web browser access for the admin console, but not the client console, because we get additional features by not being a web browser. On the client side, the admin side, it's better to have the application, but if you're on your tablet or your phone or just something without software loaded, you can still use the browser to get access to the admin console. So here I have the volumes on the top and my permissions on the bottom. These are standard permissions, so you can see here that Edit1 and Jim M, and the Mac Pro, they all have write access to the volume. Johnny has read-only access. This is just to enable you to mount the volume in the first place, just to get the volume onto your desktop of the Mac or the PC or Linux system. From there, I go into policies. So I have one policy assigned to this Brandstar volume, and I'll go into that right now and see that I have a baseline set So for root, which is just /root, I have read, write, create, delete for everyone. That sort of matches up with the old-fashioned read-write access to the entire file system. You can do everything you want. But from there, from my baseline, I can then start to remove things. So here I go, okay, on the root, I'm going to remove delete for the Video 101 user group. So anyone in the Video 101 user group cannot delete anything from this volume. So this is like a college lab, application, students, things like that. So let's get out of that and go into that Mac and see what we have here. So I have my Brandstar volume on the desktop here. I'll open that up and you'll see I have access to everything. I can read everything I want to. I can open things up and play them down in real time, things like that. But if I go and delete something and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and delete this file, delete, it goes away. And this is because we are compatible with project saves. You can be in a no delete situation with a volume, and the project will still be able to be saved to its original file, which actually includes a delete. It deletes the old version and makes a new one. Because of that, if I just refresh this real quick, you'll see that that didn't actually go away. It's still there. So the file goes away long enough to see whether or not you're going to replace it with something of the same name, like a project save, and if you don't, it comes back. So that's a no delete function on that. Now that's because I'm logged into this particular system as a user within the Video 101 group. Jim on Facilis8D, my server, is in the Video 101 group, and you can see that here. If I go into my clients, into my access, into my groups, into my Video 101, there's Jim. So because Jim is logged in to that user, I don't have access to delete anything. But if I log out of Jim, go here and say, all right, I'm going to log out of Jim, and because the desktop user Mac Pro 2019 still has access to that volume, it still remains here in my list and remains mountable to me. But what happens is I am now able to delete things. I can now delete things permanently, and it goes away and it's gone. Now we also have other methods of undelete, which is a way to restore files that have been deleted and look to be completely gone in the file system, but you can still restore them back. So that's another thing for another video. That's it for right now. I wanted to keep it short. Please check out the next one, which I'll go over a little further, the ability to save projects in a project workflow while no delete is active on the file system or on the folder. Thanks a lot, and see you on the next one.